Yo, what is up, folks? TrevorTCG here with some Explorer Merfolk. Decathlon's still going on. I said I'd post one of each of them. They're, well, I don't know. They've been alright, but the formats are a little anemic. I'm kind of excited for Sealed, which is the next one I've got to play. But Blue-Green Merfolk in Explorer has had some recent tools, notably Mutavault a little before that. We got Voidcatcher. So that's mixing some parts of its name. Vidalian Hexcatcher. But let's have a look at the list. So, in the 1-drops, we have Benthic Biomancer and Mystic Herald. Mystic Herald gives you an evasive creature to attack with, which you're pumping up with your Lords, with Hexcatcher and Merfolk Mistbinder, because you actually need to kill your opponent. Turns out. Benthic Biomancer is a nice one. It has the adaptability, but by itself is a 1-1, and then whenever it gets a counter, either from the adapt or potentially from Deep Root Elite, or potentially stuff out the back. Kind of a nice energy there. You get to loot, draw, and discard. So you have a couple of 1-drops to kind of like, alright, buff up and kind of beat your opponent down with. Importantly, this deck wants to go wide a little bit. Hexcatcher at the 2-drop slot is a 2-mana flash 1/1 Merfolk, which is also a Lord, but sacrifice a Merfolk and counter target non-creature spell as its controller pays 1. So going wide, you're quite rewarded. You can kind of is just a counter spell on a stick, but also it doesn't sacrifice itself. You sacrifice, hey, like Jungle Ball Pioneer tokens, which we'll get to. There's some payoffs for going wide, other than just like, alright, I've got Lords and things. We've got Deep Root Elite. Whenever another Merfolk enters the battlefield you control, you get to put a counter on a Merfolk you control. So you can buff up your Evasive Herald, or put counters on the Biomancer to draw cards. That's some pretty nice synergy there. And then also the Jungle Pioneer, which is a little, like, innocuous. It's a 3-mana 2/2 that makes a 1/1. The token is hexproof, so you can put counters on that as well, and it synergizes really, really well with Deep Root Elite and Hexcatcher. One of the important things about Hexcatcher, well, it can't counter Supreme Verdict, obviously. It can deal with temporary lockdown, which is a bit more common, and much more potent versus Yi, in general. Verdicts, at that point in the game, you kind of have done quite a lot of damage, and then you're likely to have maybe like a Mutavault and some of the stuff kicking around, maybe a company to finish your opponent off with. So yeah, Mistbinder, the other Lord in the deck, it's obviously been around for a bit, and you're splashing green for Elite Mistbinder. I guess it's not much of a splash. You're a blue-green deck, but Company is like the other big payoff. The big payoffs are Company, Mistbinder, and then also you get to play a couple of copies of Kumina. Tap another Merfolk, tap an untapped Merfolk you control. Can't be blocked this turn, and then if you've kind of gone wide a bit, tap 3 Merfolk, draw a card, tap 5 Merfolk, put some sort of counter each Merfolk you control. So hey, again, more payoffs for going wide. You'll see we're not running any of the like 3-mana, like 1 blue Merfolk that kind of makes things harder to cast. It's a little slow for what you're doing. You want to be using your mana efficiently, and the targeting doesn't really matter that much in the like temporary lockdown and various sweepers. Is what you're really, really worried about. And additionally, you have some interaction with Hexcatcher. But that is the only kind of chaos where you're running in the main deck. I didn't talk about Merfolk Trickster. It is a Trickster. ETB, tap a creature opponent controls. These are abilities in the end of turn. Again, we have a couple of different things that kind of have triggers when things enter the battlefield, or potentially you get like a fast creature. Obviously, turns off something like Greasefang. You buy you some time there, then allow you to, like, while still expanding your board and getting to go wide. And get creatures in play to hit your opponent with, and then you can kind of use that in a combination with Brazen Borrow to be disruptive, and you've got stuff out of the back as well to kind of protect your valuable creatures. I've talked about this in a really, really roundabout way. Brazen Borrow at 3 is one of your kind of key piece interaction in the main deck. Obviously, it's not a Merfolk, it's a fairy, but it's an evasive attacker, which can be quite nice, and 3 damage is quite a lot. It lets you do things like end of turn, bounce a temporary lockdown in play, deal with problematic permanents, something like Fire's Invention, Enigmatic Incarnation, really disrupt your opponent. And again, things like Greasefang, you want like to be able to interact with it on turn 3 and have some kind of game plan against it game 1. Mana base, fairly straightforward. Obviously, we do have some double blue spells kicking around. So there aren't any basic forests, so we're not also playing a Boseiju, which is like a personal choice. I want to be a little bit more consistent on being able to like cast these on time. We have 4 Mutavaults, which is the other main the other like big payoff for playing this deck that we picked up recently. It's a creature with all creature types. As a 2/2, so occasionally second as a 3/3, 4/4, bonuses and stuff. It's great. Manlands are great. And then just like 4 Breeding Pool, 4 Botanical Sanctum, 4 Pathway, and then a couple of copies of Yevmaya Coast. Don't hurt yourself too much. I thought it was really important to play. So you're like, oh, why aren't you playing Misagi? I want to have a couple of basic islands. With the Manlands, you are like, you're going to get Field of Ruin in a lot of matchups. Having the islands to fetch so that you still have the mana to cast Company, etc., is actually super important. Going into the sideboard, a few things going on here. So for interaction, whether that be combo decks or control kind of things, we've got Spell Piercers, and we have Mystical Dispute, versus something more mid-rangey, or again, control decks, we've got Deep Root Waters, which again lets you go wide, but makes like a steady stream of X-proof 1/1 Merfolk creatures, which you can then buff up, either with Lords or with counters. Tameo Safekeeping, which is kind of this double duty in this deck, for both kind of decks with sweepers, and also versus mono red. Lets you block quite nicely. If they use removal spells, then hey, and it's got the gain life attached to it as well. 3 copies of Unlicensed Us as our key piece of Graveyard Hate. Yeah, card's great. Yeah, not too much to say there. Aether Gust for red and green as well. Wanted something to bring alongside the Safekeepings versus red, and also is quite nice versus green. I was tempted to play something like Witness Protection, which helps deal with like problematic permanents, things with reach, like Cavalier Thorns, that kind of thing. But thought Aether Gust was a little bit better because it does double duty, and also one of the things is that like when you Witness Protection, it doesn't actually turn off Devotion. They keep their pips; it doesn't mess with that, even if it changes their color. So something to think about. The other thing that you're quite interested in probably is Wilt, because we have the option to play the 1 and a green Exile target artifact or enchantment, and one of the kind of key reasons for this is for the mono green matchup, where they're playing Khan Silex, and generally the play pattern goes like, okay, they make like their early Khan, go get the Silex, and then they have to play it, and then yada yada yada, which is slow, admittedly, but obviously they're going to put creatures in, they're going to be doing other things too. And if you exile the Silex, they just get to get it back with Khan again. If you're unable to deal with the Khan, here you put it into the graveyard. They can potentially get it back with Cavalier, but if you're trading into like a Cavalier and the Cavalier's dying somehow, then you're probably dead anyway. And then also the upside of being able to be cycled. That's an interesting little piece there. I mean, there are other matchups where you're like, oh, maybe you'd prefer the exile thing, but I figured with the combination of the cycling upside and also that little nugget, I think that I'm going to try the Wilts out. So, with that in mind, let's hop into some ranked matches. Yeah. Kind of, things, I don't say winding down. Phyrexian All is 1 is coming out in about a month's time from now. In addition to that, we actually have the Decathlon event switches into Best of 3 Explorer at some point next week. So I was planning on recording with Grixis this weekend. I'm just going to wait until we have the Best of 3 events for that. Ew, this is kind of an ugly hand. I've got a couple of other decks lined up. Okay. Oh, we got 2 one-landers. So it's not just that we've got these colorless lands in the deck. This is fine. This even builds itself. We put the Jungle Pioneer stack. Okay, that's an unfortunate hand for game 1, but we'll see. We don't know what we're playing against yet. They do have a Yorion. I expect this to mean Enigmatic Incarnation nowadays, but there could still be quite a lot of variance. If I was to like have to guess blind, depending on what I played on turn 1, I think that's what I would guess. Henge Gate Pathway does not suggest that in any way, though, so now I'm completely off of that prediction. So, hey. Excuse me. Gonna make the head scratcher here. If they have like a Make Disappear, some kind of counter spell, we can untap, make the Pioneer. I think that's quite good. We're still probably going to do that. We have an interesting point here where we could like potentially like Deep Root Elite. And then obviously the Pioneer is better with Deep Root Elite. I think it's optimistic to have these all survive, and having the token could be quite good. Additionally, if they end up having I want to attack. I still don't really know. I don't really want to chuck this away. We have a Brazen Borer. I think that's fine. Worst comes to worst, we can take a bit. And we're going to play this Jungleborn Pioneer. I have an interesting decision if I count a spell here, because I can sacrifice the Hexcatcher to... Oh, no. Well, okay, that's fine. Looks to just be blue-white Yorion. Like, at this point, could still be Esper, but I'd imagine with... From what I've seen so far, I'd protect just blue-white. Portable hole. They can't take this anyway. I'm just gonna let it resolve. Because potentially we could bounce the portable hole later. Like with this Brazen Borer and a turn or something like that. That might happen if we draw a land here. Not that land. Not that land. Okay. I might get in with the team. We have to worry a little bit about that next turn, but we are somewhat limited on our mulligan to 5 as to what we can do about it. We do have the 2 Meter Bolts. We're going to play our lands. I think the line is to play the Super Elite if they have the sweeper on 3. Actually, I think that's kind of cap. I think we could say go and then look to end the turn, bounce the portable hole, get the Voidcatcher back down, and then potentially attack with the Meter Bolts. Or at least one of them, depending on what we draw. It plays around Verdict a lot better, at least. Sort of. Still not great. Here, end the turn, I'm going to try and bounce the bubble, huh? And keep our opponent on their toes. That gets absorbed. Kind of fine. Into our turn. 5 cards. Hey, we got 80 cards. How many Supreme Vets do they play? 3 or 4? Probably. So either we can add 2 Meter Bolts here. So it'd be nice to get one of these into play. Makes sense to play this before. Alternatively, this is 7 down to 12. If we go like 7 but another 12, then they untap me to Fairing. I don't think I'm that worried. I have to do our best to use the little resources that we do have. I think this does that job the best. Feels a little weird. Fine. And like we are like potentially exploding one of our lands to our march, but I think that's a sacrifice we can make. A Ralgan Triome. Not read too much into this. I have untapped mana, we have to worry about like Wandering Emperor, which is annoying. Maybe I can go like... But now the manlands are more potent, so like I want to keep them safe. No. Let's try and cast Deep really. We can get a couple of counters. Counters is very optimistic. I'm not interested in looting this away. They trade with this. To... I don't think we can really afford to play Fantasy around Wandering Emperor. Like, at least if they're like going to make a guy trade with us, they're not making a token.
I hope you're ready to lose.
And they're gonna go for... Okay, they're gonna go for the exile. Sure.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Alright. Up to 6 mana. Alright, Portable Hole takes a Deep really away. Okay. Alright, let me send that very rough. Holding up another one.
We must
Potential. Okay, never mind. Was potentially holding up another one. Don't have 2 mana left over. I'm trying to think if we get a sequence this a bit better. I think, given the 5 cards, probably not really. They didn't end up actually having a sweeper, so we could maybe... Oh wait, they've not shown a sweeper, so you could maybe have committed the board a bit more. I don't know how that actually goes. How does this play out? We can kill Teferi. I think we should try and kill Teferi. The play as if they have nothing for 2 mana. Immediately it seems like they do. Interesting. What is it they're gonna have though? Maybe they shoot a Mutavault? They're at 12 here. If we take attack face and they Wrath, how bad is that? They also are gonna have a 2/2, but not if they Wrath. 7 go to 5, gets untapped with Teferi. Go. These are both pretty bad. So they don't have Teferi. They can look to set up with like Yorion, but they can't Yorion next turn. I think we try this. Those decision points. Alright, this has worked out okay. Well, they potentially have something. They have a Field of Ruin for a Mutavault, which is... annoying. We don't block because we have Lords and stuff. Fireman. So if we find like one of these and it gets edged, we get to still cast. Oh, okay. I don't love that. It just depends what they have. They can add to they can Field of Ruin plus useful mana. I'm gonna double activate Mutavaults. So if one of these is Field of Ruin, we get to play one of the 1-drops from our hand. Trying to work out when the windows are. Okay. 5. They could like Shark Typhoon for 3. That's still... I don't know. Not a good way for us to get around that. Yeah, sure. So, assuming they trade with the Mutavault, just get out of the way. Or eat it. This also works. They take 3, go to 9. A card left. We'll make the unblockable thing now. Want to try and use the Biomancer to potentially loot away a land. Like, we can actually just draw into Company still, which is... It feels a little silly. If they have a land, they can Yorion. That's like not the worst. We have like live draws left. This is just a little tough. Okay. I was gonna say, do not flicker those portable holes. You have a bad time. Alright. We got a card to draw. We can bounce Yorion, we can bounce this thing. Is that the most interesting? At least get some mana out of it and quite a good deck. We have to go in for 6. Unblockable, basically. And then we at least have the one cast for a little bit. Yeah. Try and find a lethal combination. Like 6 is not math. 6 is not what math said. Alright. Not afford to play around Larath anymore. They can also portable hold and farewell, which is tough, but yeah. Yeah, we let this fall under here. All the Storm Giants also makes a good blocker. They're at 5, 4 cards. It's going. Drawing a Lord is good. It depends more on what our opponent ends up with than what we end up with. That resolves. I'm gonna make attacks with it. Need to be more optimistic, man. More optimism.
I'm not overconfident.
Reaching optimism is that I'm definitely gonna run into a Wandering Emperor.
I am almost
You know.
sad to see you go.
It looks like they maybe have like an Django or something here. Maybe a March. They have the 3 open mana for a... Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, just a... Like, I think we've done well to try and come back from the Multi 5, but not quite made it. Kudos to everybody who stayed to watch the Better Chatter I Multi 5 this start. Spoiling as well. If you're rooting with me, why not like and... They can activate this. You can get in for like 3 damage. It's like... What's the... Sorry. If we attack out, they get to go... Activate Hall. I'm gonna have to say pass. They activate Hall, eat 2 of our creatures, we get in for 2. The problem is that they then get to untap, activate Hall, and then attack us with. I'm gonna say go. Can cast the Brazen Borrower. They know that. They don't know how the other how it is. Shark Typhoon's pretty bad. Okay. Well, I think this gets a little better post board. Feel good about that. What? Kind of dragging this out. Let's see what they play here. 4, 6.
I have got new moves to teach you.
They get to attack. I get to cast the Brazen Borrower. They have any counter spell. The game is GG. I'm ready. Alright. Cool. Let's go to sideboarding. Let's have a look. So, like the Spell Piercers, like the Deep Root Waters, like the Mystical Dispute. Don't mind the safekeepings. We didn't see any hard rests actually. But worth thinking about. I don't hate Will either. This is kind of the problem. To work out what we actually don't like. I don't like Himina very much. It can draw you cards money if you go wide. The deck is trying to go wide, but they have sweepers. Gonna stop us with that. They're a bit clunky too. The Pioneers I'm kind of thinking about. I like the Deep Root Waters. Slightly a little bit smoother. We've got some 1 mana spells here to cast. I don't know how I... yeah, Hexproof as well. Like, this is all kind of good. I'm looking to cut like 8 more cards. Which is interesting. The Brazen Borrower is actually not that great here. You're sniping like Wandering Emperor tokens. We didn't see any like big in terms of like Shark Typhoon tokens. I'm not in love with these. But I want to keep like our like more synergistic stuff. I'm gonna keep a couple of Brazen Borrowers around, but I don't want the full fledged. Like it can like bounce the fairy or whatever if they're gonna make it on stuff, but like we're trying not to worry that much. Oh, I'm not trying to worry that much, but trying not to have to care about that. The other thing is like Trickster's not great. Again, I wouldn't mind leaving in some number of them. I think that I actually kind of want to do. No, I think we need to raise more resin. I think I'm going to do this. Alright, objective currently is not to multi 5. We'll play another couple of matches. Oh. This isn't even like best of one shuffler shenanigans. It's just got Mutavault Magnetism, but only when it's the only in our hand. This is interesting. A little awkward. Trying to work out if we can. I don't know what we put back here. We want the company. We maybe get rid of the slip out the back just because. We definitely keep. I don't feel like getting rid of a land because we have the company I have. I don't want to get rid of our only creature. I think it has to be a slip out the back. Gonna lead with basic island. Probably Douglas Shore lands. And follow up with a deeper elite. Atacol wastes a hole. Yes. So playing the Awar. Do we go deeper elite and try and be very explosive? I think on the play this is go. If they have a sensor, we have 1 mana. If they make this appear, we're a little sad. Out of here. Alright. Fatal absence is not the worst possible. Okay. I got a main phase of March too. Okay. The spell piece is quite interesting. Play out on one of our misbinders. Okay. I'm trying to work out if I try and resolve a collector company here, if they play like a Wandering Emperor. It's potential. We have a spell pierce. So there's at that point. This is fine. Deep block. I think I do main phase. Okay. So not main phase, but like if they block here, then I think I company. A little bit rough. Obviously, it feels bad when we could have got rid of them. Trading that away isn't the worst, so obviously we wanted to hit one of our lords. Ideally, a Vidalian Hexcatcher, but okay. This is okay at the moment. We have a clue, we have a loot off the Biomancer. We're at our 4 lands now, so any lands we get, we can loot away. And we have a lord to play with some Spellpierce protection next turn. Well, that is rude. Okay. I'm gonna cast one of these again. I don't want to sack one of these main phase. Like, they might drop a Teferi or something we want to be able to use. Sylviorian, like, if they just pass the turn, then I will sacrifice one of these. You do need to catch an extra hand. Cards. Hex catcher's a nice draw. Okay. Fire attack. Just can't play very well against exactly Supreme Bird. Play out the Herald. Okay. Burn step. Narset. They're on 16, it kind of makes me want to dispute it. I'm not drawing any extra cards. I don't actually mind that much. We could save these for something that's more relevant. I think I'm fine to let this resolve.
If you wish to
Obviously, it means we can't sacrifice the kill on our turn, but we're not really wanting to anyway.
keep an open mind.
But they can pay for the dispute, and I don't want to burn 2 cat spells on this when it's not impacting what's going on the table in a minute. Now they only have 3 mana. Gonna make the Hex Catcher. And you've got Spell Pierce if they have an Absorb or similar. Fire this off over the Mystical Dispute. This costs them more mana and we have cast it. So we do take a shot at the Narset just to stop them finding a Wrath. Not shown one already. The kid obviously still have one in hand.
My mind needs a rest.
I'm gonna play the land given everything, and we got a Cleat to sacrifice. See if they have like a farewell here. They do. They have a mana to pay. We can farewell this and then sacrifice creatures with a mana, but this does obviously leave us vulnerable now. That's a pretty good sign. I'm gonna pass because we can bounce and flash in the Sideboard at the moment. Doom and resolve. Borrow also a lethal attacker now. We can let Halt resolve. Presumably take the Hex. No, okay. Never mind. Alright. Okay, we get game 2. Going into game 3. I do actually quite like how we sideboarded. The Tricksters. The Troll. Or other Trickster Pioneer, actually. It's an interesting one. Again, Wilts, who got. At least we have a decent amount of 1-mana interaction. A little bit of 2. Anything else where the mixed tricks is great? It's like okay versus the sharp tokens. Like it was a unfortunate one. We were like, okay, so if we so at company, like if we find like elite plus a creature, then we get to put a counter on our lord. If we find a lord, the lord survives. Anything else? We still got our creatures that we trade, and it seems fine. Hitting the one of Merfolk Trickster to tap it after it's blocked is. I think that the setup is still good. Yeah. Okay. One time, no 1 land meter bot hand. And the verdict is. Ooh. Okay. I like that. I like that. Step out of the back. A little ability. Our plan here is to go Herald into Elite. If they follow that up with a temporary lockdown, then we have a Brazen Borrower, and then also a Hex Catcher to catch it later on. It looks like they have a Marcher. Okay. They've not actually showed a temporary lockdown, which is an temporary lockdown, and they are playing Portal Hall, which isn't like any synergy per se, but you'd think that most of the time nowadays people are playing Lay Down Arms and Temporary Lockdown instead of the Hole. Can play both. It's a little awkward, but it's not impossible. I think I main phase this. I actually want the extra damage. Then we maybe don't play this. Yeah, I can just be back. Because ours is also a counter spell. Okay. They're stuck on 2 lands, which is awkward for them. We can't cast a slip out the back anymore, but we have some things going on. March exiles it. I'm just gonna let it exile. I was like, I could put it in the graveyard, but actually, Prince. Get Lord. Gonna hold slip out the back hip here, rather than make the Herald. Yeah, because the spells they can have while on 2 mana are largely like one piece of interaction. Tap land, Warrior Disruption. Okay, we hit another Lord. Oh, if they have exactly, if they have exactly votes, we still get to save so that we slip out the back. Seems fine. Down again to 9. So I need to draw the land for that too. Our set is okay.
I train every day. No one is more prepared than
I guess I just dead. Alright, we get there. 37 minutes. My plan nowadays is to play 3 matches, hopefully hit different matchups. And that's kind of like the video idea. And sometimes if those matches are short, I'll play more. Sometimes if they're really long, I'll play less. I'll try and get another 2 in here. If we have one that's like that again, because that was about 30 minutes, then I probably won't play another one. But hey. Thank you for sticking around to watch if you're still here. And if you are still here, potentially like, subscribe. Let me know if there are any decks you want to see. I thought Merfolk was an interesting one. It's a deck that's like got some buffs. It's always kind of sat around the kind of like tier 2.5-ish, but I think with the recent like with Hexcatcher and Mutavault probably gets up to tier 2. It's a case of finding the like right kind of lineup of cards and the balance and what you want to be doing. We'll see though. Opponent on the play. Oh yeah. I just spoke about like trying to hit 3 different matchups. Well, there's a good chance they're playing Enigmatic. They can still very well be playing fires with a castle. Castle's good in fire. We take those. No leader for this. Make the Muscular Herald. Our hand is okay. It's got nothing like huge. No like major payoffs. But that is alright. Lay down arms it. I wish you would lay down arms it. Okay. Have the 1, have the Trickster. Oh, the other thing was there is another evasive 1-drop you can play. I didn't talk about, which is it's the Pirate. The 1-mana Merfolk Pirate. It mills your opponent, which is the reason we're not playing it. Of those 3 things, I think you get quite a lot of upside off of the Benthic, and this Herald being completely unblockable is a bit of a shutout. Nice. The yeah, me want to play. We have company. I feel happy doing this. And the pirate can just lose you the game on the spot in some matchups, which is rough. I was having a look at a mono blue version of Merfolk. They do have it. Play. I'm going to main phase this company so it resolves. We'll take the Hexcatcher and the Pioneer to go sideways with it. Seems good to me. Yeah, I was looking at a mono blue version of Merfolk that does play the pirate and trying to take advantage of the pirate in combination with Mystic Herald. Kind of doing the mono blue spirit style thing where you're playing Curious Obsessions. But there wasn't quite enough cards that I was like, there wasn't quite enough good cards that I was like happy enough. You have those. You have the Trickster, you have Hexcatcher, you can play Mutavault. But without some of the like green cards like the Extra Lord, we'll activate this. Let's keep the Hexproof one around. That makes sense. Oh, now we have an Awara activation available. So we can use this to bounce our own stuff. The Hexcatcher protects us from sweepers that aren't that well. I feel fairly good about playing this and being able to loot away a land here, because we're a little flooded. I said something about Art Farewell. That should probably have been and Supreme Verdict, but I can't remember what it was I said now. Wandering Emperor. This we will. I don't know. Could animate the Mutavault. I'm quite committed to Biomancering here, and it not dying to Sweeper is very nice. Counter. Got a pathway. Company's nice. Play this blue side up. This lets us animate Mutavault and also cast Company. This is like a perfect illustration of the power of Voidcatcher, really. Yeah. Our opponent's in a rough spot. They divide it. That resolves. We cast a Company. Get a new one, and well, the Kamina. Yeah, sure. Alright, get to game 2. It is just Blue White Yorion again. I think I'm gonna board pretty much the exact same way. We see. I'm bad at like looking at and remembering opponents' names, and so I don't remember exactly what it was that they were up to. What did I do here? Oh yeah. It's weird. So you can see where like what catches like really good going away with Pioneer, but it turns out that, like you get like an extra token. It's not that like it's not super like hyper efficient. And like 3 mana is quite clunky when you're bringing in all these 1 mana interactive spells. That's why I'm boarding out the Pioneer here. And the Kamina kind of for similar reasons, because it's wanting to go wide. It doesn't. It's like providing you with quote unquote fake card advantage. In that it doesn't matter unless you can't. You're just not going to be able to activate it, basically. Your opponent's trying to stop you from going wide. I did bring the Wilts in without actually seeing a ton. Even if they're not playing, Portable Hole, they'll be playing Temporary Lockdown, either or both ways. So it all kind of works out. To lead off with the Biomancer. The nice thing about this sequence is that we're going to get to protect one of our Hexcatchers at least with a Physical Dispute. They've led off with not a tap land. Okay, Glacial Fortress, sure. That'd say their mana might be a little awkward. I'm somewhat keen to get. I'm going to attack, so I'm not sure what they're going to. My plan here is to play Deep Really. Use that to build a board to play with. Could just say go. I'm not too worried about the like these. Like if they lock down these 2 creatures and then let me untap, I think it's fine. 8th August here. What's on the bottom? We'll go further towards company. Awkward with the Mistbinder. We're going to try and Hex Catch under that turn. Yeah. This leaves him in a, okay. I was going to say it leaves him in a little bit of a weird position with the mana, but they have an Omen to cast. It's fair. Kind of interesting the evolution of control decks in the current Explorer format. Because like the rise of green, kind of how many different tools Blue White's picked up. There's a few different ways to build the deck, but some of them kind of clash with each other a bit. And yeah, I'm not sure what my like preferences at the moment. You saw me post if you've seen it. I posted a Esper Planeswalker. Kind of cast this. They're 3 mana up. Do I play into what it is that they have? I don't think we do when we've got the Team Scott beats up. That's fine. Happy enough running it this way. Good. Do you make a deep preview elite? Because it still leaves me this speed up. I think if they run out and absorb for it, then I don't bother countering it. Leads into like a Teferi. Omen's fine. It's just to an extent once we get to they're getting to 6 mana, these things just hard counter absorbs. Which is okay. But I don't want to fun them trying to trade with their card drawer spells. Unless but like potentially if it's something super powerful like Delusion. Gets them quite deep. Our current game of Ventic Biomancer Delver going pretty interesting. They have 3 cards, they've not added Yorion yet. They have these to sacrifice later on to scry a little. Which will get them better draws. But I don't know how this is going really. I think that's fine. Let me take that and move on. We'll find a point where we can draw that card. Now the board is kind of clear, which is a little scary. I think that is okay. We'll make a hex catcher. Let them dispute that. Sacrifice. Dispute is, of course, hyper efficient. They have a punish here. I don't think what it would be. Okay, they're gonna get a memory delusion. Fair enough. This will leave them a little shields down to a couple of things, but I don't know. That is pretty decent. Please have my mutables. Okay. Can't complain about the auto tapper when you have the option to just not get blown out by it. So, hey. Yeah, the sex catch is kind of interesting. They're likely to have some answers for this. maybe not fantastic one. Let's see. This is weak to Discord Dispute, but otherwise at least it makes a creature. I think we then just have to let this die. Immediately draw another one. I don't actually want to. I don't actually want to cast this right now. Where we are at the minute, we can now hard cast Visco Dispute, and we can the other way around. So like we wouldn't have got this, we wouldn't have got disputed that marched if we had this around. They've got 3 cards. We're on 11. This thing gets active soon. That's going to be a problem. Kind of down to poke it. If they fight, I don't think I fight back. We can resolve one of the deep root waters, which seems pretty good. I don't want to sack my board for that. Two mana open. Kinda nice. What if they found a farewell? If they found a farewell 3/6/7, we can at least protect the waters. Yeah. I should probably just have to combat. Like this is not good. This is bad. All right. Let's see this again, which I think is fine. Absent. I think sacking 2 creatures for this is not good enough. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm right. We got the treasure as well. We can use the treasure. This is powerful. Do I do that instead though? Maybe I go deep root elite. They have 1 card in hand. Doesn't bounce. Go 1, 2, hold up this and this. I think we kind of have to respect the farewell. We still have the Basin Burrow, and we can cast that on their end step if there's like nothing going on here. And then if they decide to like go for a deluge, then they're dead. I think. Ooh, and Yorion is bold. I'm gonna cast this. I was trying to think what they can have to punish us here. The thing that I'm worried about is like Wandering Emperor. But now we get to untap. We can go attacks, have lethal, hold this up entirely. So they're having to potentially faff around with counters. Try it. They have. I was gonna say the thing that this line is bad against is a Typhoon. That's lethal. Nice, nice, nice. It is about to hit the hour mark. I think I will hop in. We'll keep another game. And then this will be the last one. Nice. If I remember correctly, like back when I towards when I kind of started the channel, or when there's more. No, when Dominaria United first came out, I did like I recorded a best of one run with the deck, or not this version of the deck, but a blue green Merfolk deck, without me evolve, without some of the other pieces, and managed to hit like a 7-win run on my first try, which is cool. Okay. Get to be able to play. That is the curse returns. This is nuts, but what are the odds on this? Play another match, he says he will. Play another match. I think this is the best bet. This is rough. Make no mistake. Let's see what Submarine is on. We don't know the matchup yet. Oh, they do have Brazar and they made Basic Swamp. I don't love it. We at least get to play it instant speed now that we have the Hex Catcher. You can hold up this stuff out the back for removal. You can do some other stuff as well. Oops, this is my favorite. This is, I can't say my favorite because there are just so many good ones, but this is maybe my favorite Swamp part of all time. Make the Hex Catcher. Closes the hat roll for a second. They're gonna go for this, right? Okay. Yeah, sure. Ooh, company's nice. Where do I play this on? Into 3. We still have that many cards to work with. We can't afford to run it. Yeah, Trespass is actually okay. I'll offer the trade. Here playing on our 2 mana. So 4 mana they can have something like Sorin. 5 mana they can have the Big Bad. Invoke Despair. I'm pretty ludicrously bad at card names at this point. I'll have a look. Oh. No, I'm not main facing this about the back, even if it's yeah. It is Invoke Despair. Okay, we win. No problem, no problem. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. This is a lot of damage, which is, you know, a little awkward. No blocks. We're gonna have company soon here, which is good. Did manage to fade the Shield Dread. We'll allow the Sign in Blood. Their deck is really sweet. Honestly, forgot Sideboard was on Arena because it's only in the archive. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. That lets us cast Company. I'm not going to do it now though. Do it later. Oh, Fatal Push. It's tempting to slip out the back. We have other stuff going on. I'm gonna cast this Company because we're still game one. We're not post board versus. We're not with stuff other creatures. That's fine. It turns out we'll allow that one. I'll sack off the Biomass to protect the Hex Catcher. Okay. Alright. Now if we go untap, we get to untap with stuff out of the back. They're up to 6 mana now. Depending on. Okay, they have the shield, right? Stuff. They could draw step. Tap Jones, tap Merfolk, draw a card. Feels a little awkward right now. You can make this unblockable. Shoulder attacks in with this for 8. We have creatures to eat as well. Potentially 10. This is pretty lethal. We might be in a position where we need to do some creative blocking. This does flip back into a 3/3 if we use this about the back this time. I think that's what. Maybe actually. No. We'll see. I'm gonna attack him with Lethal Damp Calitas. This might be a rough one. We've had 2 wins chopped off the back, so like how are we doing this? Oh well. Thing is, I think the Calitas puts us at. This block's fine here actually and lives. And then we can block here and activate. That buys us a turn. And then go to 5. They still have a Calitas. And we drew a Brazen Borrower. It maybe changes the maths on their turn. Interesting. So do they have creatures to eat? Not on our side, but they maybe have one? No. Really? This is still here. They ate the Trespasser earlier. Wait, despair. Yeah, we use that 2 things, it's not. Now the zombie train starts. The issue really is that like that one resolved, but this one draws them into more. Yeah, it just got straight up kills. Well, well, we'll let this resolve. I think it's funny. Alright. They take game 1. Just fair enough. Spell Pierce, D3 Waters, they're gonna have no answers for. I don't want to beat other things that can be. No, we leave it at home. Like I consider it a license class, which is an interesting one. It can get quite big, which is curious, but maybe we just don't want to cut. I think we need Brazen Borer to kind of stall off some of their bigger threats. I think we actually don't want. The Trickster's also pretty good. This is harder. Maybe the actual plan is to cut deeper, right? It's something that they're gonna try and kill everything we play, right? So these things, like the Pioneers, this synergy is a little bit worse. Necessary. He doesn't actually go toe to toe, and the drawing cards. Oh, well, you could have drawn some cards there. Yeah. I feel like we're reasonably set up. Like, the elites are pretty awkward. I don't love Kamina. Um, uh, it's bad against specific Cold Red, but it's not like great or else. The DP Waters are kind of doing our job of going wide for us this game. This is the game. No, because Deeproot Elite synergizes well with it. It's another situation when we're boarding a bunch of one-mana interaction and want to be able to cast it instead of casting 3 mana spells. So I think this is completely reasonable. Reasonable, justifiable. Yeah. All right. We'll play. So mulligan, and we'll keep this. Well, on the bottom, get rid of the reading pool. Make the pain go away. Okay, company's good. Company's great here. Mistbinder, something's gonna eat the removal. We may end up playing Brazen Borer with Flash on their turn. Well, on their next end step. If we don't draw another creature supply. We'll see though. 2 mana, sign and blow myself. Love to see it. Yeah. This is a Brazen Borer on end step angle. Why is it everything cawing? Stop cawing at me. Let's eat that. Leave this in play. Try and ignore it. I am going to cast spells to stop it flipping. So this is a main phase company turn. We want the Hexcatcher and... And maybe want the deeper... I'll use this to put a catch on it. Doesn't threaten to trade, but hey. That's some stuff to read. If they have a 4 mana sweeper, then we have the Hexcatcher for interaction. This comes through. Totally fine. Blocks. The Deeproot Elite lets us grow big and let specific creatures grow big enough to attack through their more hefty creatures. Oh, that's not very nice. Now that we have the safekeeping, I'm quite tempted to just main phase company again. Now we've got the Deeproot in play, there's a big incentive to do so. Okay. There's a few different things that look like it here. We take these. So we don't want to tuck this under the bus. But maybe that's not actually. It at least means that it can threaten to block the trespasser with no problems. And I don't mind putting one of these in the way of the Aether Ball. I think that trade is fine long term. Trying to work out if it's... We can even just safekeeping. If we get safekeeping, it just kind of depends on what we draw. If we draw at least one more Merfolk, then we can make our creatures big enough to attack through their Shieldred, etc. I am going to do this. We're now throwing lethal. We have Answers to Sweepers. This seems great. The thing I'm worried about is specifically... I mean, Shieldred we can actually attack through. Kalatas is actually problematic for another creature. Things we have evasion here, and I think we just attack through one. I haven't done the precise math. We'll make the attack. Now the fatal push. No. They basically need a couple of removal spells here. They block a 3, they still take 11. I think I can go for this, right? The other creature is bigger though. That loses them life. So I think we play. So 1, 2. They block a 3. They take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to 1. If I counter this, they take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, sacrificing this, right? They take 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, we get to keep a flying blocker in play. Flying blocker attacks over Shieldred and things. I think that puts us in a slightly better position. Just in case they're like good block, untap Kalatas. I mean, lose one of our creatures, but that's the way of war, I guess. Anyway, we have the Odd Warrior to balance things anyway. Not a flip. They had Fatal Push and Eternal Grasp, though. What? I was like, hmm. Okay. Then they have some kind of sweeper. Oh, it's during their own turn. I should know that. What on earth have I been doing? Alright. Okay, they'll gift it Aetherborn. That's stabilized for them. What do we have? We have balance the Aetherborn. Basically, that's that. Okay. Alright. As me being dumb, I was like, it's not like I was playing around them, flipping Nightbound, but I should know that that works like that. Jeez. Silly bit of text. This also attacks through some stuff. And one. The Deeper Elites were like good, they actually got to go super wide, but I think overall then it does really well here, right? Brazen Borer was good to fight. I think I like how we sideboarded. We're gonna run it back. Game number 3. And we are on the draw. I'd imagine. Looks solid. More to 6. Okay, I'm curious actually. They're not playing. We've not at least not seen any hand disruption. No, stop sign of blood self. That is a unmulligan myself I've ever seen one. Fair enough. I think I can just play out here. Get the Mistbinder and play now. Then follow up with Hexcatcher later. One thing is if they do have some kind of like -2/-2 effect, we then get to make the deep root waters and have this going later on. Favorite. I think that's fine. We just try and go, okay, that's okay. We're going to cast deep root waters and then try and go wider around you. The Mystical Terror will still attack. I'm not that worried about the Mistbinder not being able to block. We have the Brazen Borrower and Hexcatcher later on for interaction, and Deep Root Elite interacts really nicely with Deep Root Waters, except for when you first cast it. So no blocks. And then what we I think now. Oh no, we need green. League. So that's not kind of alright though. I don't want to sacrifice 2 things to I had to sacrifice yeah. Actually I did it right. I'm not that unhappy with this exchange. This one a little less happy about. Thing is that this way we get to cast the Hexcatcher now, and then sacrifice the 2. We get more Merfolk, we don't get this thing, let's get 15. We're at 15, we're at 10. That flips it back, so we cast a bunch of spells. They're 5 mana. What are we up to? Again, they can invoke Despair. We have plenty of creatures to sacrifice. Let's draw them some cards. Aetherborn is okay. Murderous Rider, fair enough. My hope is to not battle out on the ground if I don't have to. Fairly happy to count those on the Misclick Tarot. With the Brazen Borrower, we have the Hexcatcher still. We can do this. I don't really want to attack anything else. In with the unlockable one, and then we've got this Brazen Borrower later on. I'll play the Botanical Sanctum just because it eases things up mana-wise later on. Let's just go borrow stuff next. GG. Yeah, they don't have any interaction left with us. Not when we can like sack our board to protect it. And so somehow we rattle off 3 wins. We did play 2 Blue at your Index, and I think that's an interesting matchup actually. But it did go well. And then Mono Black was pretty scary, I'll be honest. But hey, if you didn't know, now you know. Merfolk could get hey, pretty good. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. It's been thank you guys so much. Generally an awesome New Year holiday period. Honestly, obviously had a pretty cool, a video kind of cool video pop off with the free to play stuff. I'm gonna do a little bit more of that, but I'm not planning on doing it like super regularly. Just because there are some like TOS kind of concerns. If you have any Explorer decks, any decks for other formats, you're like, I like to see you play this, I like to see you play that, do let me know in the comments. We got Phyrexia All Is One coming out. We're kind of going into / about to kind of be in the middle of spoiler season. Because it's always spoiler season in Magic the Gathering nowadays. And so, yeah, we'll be kind of looking at some of those cards and seeing how they do in Explorer. Probably have some set review type-ish stuff at some point. And yeah, keep on the lookout for that. Other than that, please do take care of yourselves and have a great day. Peace out.